Before we start the podcast, we would like to state that the views and opinions of the host and guests do not represent those of the organization and the university and its stakeholders.
안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome to Aja Animo's very own podcast called Aja Kaja Podcast, hosted by Stream Stray Kids God's Menu on Spotify, Nerissa Flores, at pwede na niya banggitin ang G-Friend Today, Layne, where we talk all things Korean from the Pinoy perspective.
That's right! Get to catch a glimpse of everything K-related such as Kpop, K-dramas, K-food, just K-everything in the Philippines.
Ayan.
Oh, kabisado ka na.
Oo, girl, ang
Kaya
galing.
na. O, diba?
So, kamusta ka naman, Dana C? How's your morning?
How's my morning? Ayan, kumain ako ng samyang today. Kumain ako.
Wow.
Pampagising.
Grabe yung
Iba
samyang.
Yeah. Tinry mo na ba?
Oo, syempre.
Binigay
Sa-
ko yung, diba, yung recipe from last time. Lagyan mo ng
Oo.
milk and cheese. Sobrang sarap niya.
Masarap siya, na-try ko na siya.
Ah, okay. That's good. Favorite ko yun. Ikaw naman, Miss Nerissa, how are you?
Ako, medyo draggy yung energy ko today. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. Pero
Oh,
sige.
no.
Feeling ko, maganda naman yung topic natin today. So, feeling ko
That's
ma-energize
true.
ako. Dami ko na naman
Ayan.
maambag.
Sakto nga eh. Sabi diba, pwede ko nang banggitin ng G-Friend today. So, ayan. Bigyan niya na ako ng free pass today kasi sobrang bagay siya sa episode natin today. Which is
So, ano
called You're My Star. And you guessed it, it'll be all about the people we look up to and admire in K-culture.
Yes, for this episode, we will be talking about Korean idols' influence on fans, idol fan culture, how idols affects fans' offline lives, and how this affects the environment around fans.
Pero, tsakaman.
Mhm.
Wait, there's more. We have a special guest today. So, Nerissa,
Oh.
you may do the honors.
All right. Is everyone ready? Well, we have with us the co-admin of Marupok Nation Philippines from 2019. She also manages fan page projects dedicated to Icon and Kim Hanbin. Our guest also participates in donation drives under the name of Kim Hanbin, like sending food trucks to Angel's Haven for Children, donating 50 activity books for Tahanan ng Pagmamahal, donating 131 meals for frontliners in the Philippine General Hospital, and a lot more donation drives.
Not only that, she has a diploma in culinary arts and management and also an online business owner herself. So with that, let's please welcome our only guest for today, Miss Chrystal Quinit. Wow!
Hello!
Welcome, Miss
to the
Apple.
show!
Woohoo! Now, kamusta naman, Miss Apple?
I'm good naman. Medyo kabado lang. First time kong mag-guest ng ganito. And it's all about fangirling. So, excited at the same time. So,
Ayan, okay lang yan. Let it all out lang kasi
Totoo.
sobrang feeling ko magkakaroon tayo ng fangirl moments din. So, okay lang yan. Mapa-mention ka kay Hanbin, Icon, go lang.
Totoo yan.
Tapos, ang ganda, nakakaaliw yung yung
Projects
minention
niya,
ko rin
no?
Nerissa, yung mga projects. Sobrang,
Ayan,
how
guys.
is it naman? How is it going so far right now?
right now, meron kami ongoing projects for Kim Hanbin's birthday this year. Ayun, medyo tiring when it comes to packing. Pero nakaka-overwhelmed kasi a lot of people are supporting our projects. Yun.
That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
Oh,
Super thankful.
for
Lalo
sure.
na
If-
ngayon, no? Pandemic pa.
Mm-mm.
Tapos,
Yun nga eh.
nag-ano pa rin kayo ng projects. Galing.
Yun. And it's for a good cause naman. So, okay din.
For sure, Hanbin would be really proud.
Yes.
Sobrang matutuwa siya sa mga ganyan. Yeah!
Hanbin, baka naman, i-post mo na, no?
Baka naman.
Ayan. Now na kamusta na natin si Miss Apple? Before we get into our icebreaker portion, we just want to open up a question. For you, Miss Apple. Taray, biglang nag-question.
Ayan
What
na.
are Korean idols to you and how do they influence you in your daily life? O, pa!
Ayun.
Kailangan pang parang pageant yung question.
Miss Universe.
Well, for me, personally, it became my inspiration. It became a role model. They may not be like a saint or perfect person, but then yung good deeds and yung kind-hearted person na kung ano sila, kung paano sila sa ibang tao, yun. That's what inspires me and that's what makes me happy. Also, doing the same things that they do also makes me happy din. Fulfillment siya for me. Lalo na pag goal-oriented person.
Oh. So, goal-oriented person ka ba, Miss Apple?
I can say, oo, medyo.
Ano ba sign mo? Ay, lumabas na. Ano ba sign mo?
Libra.
Libra! Oh. Aras.
Biglang ganun, no?
Biglang ganun.
Ayan.
That's so nice. Actually, I feel like a lot of people then, our listeners could relate to that na ang daming nakaka-inspire talaga when it comes to idols. And we could see later mamaya sa mga comment section. And I remember seeing a lot din na nagsabi na idols really have influenced them in a way that they get really inspired to do good things. So, with that, maybe we can move on to our icebreaker of the day. Woo!
Ayan. So, before we begin with our topic, let's have a game.
Ayan!
Ayan.
Okay,
So, what's
ito na
today's
naman.
game?
So, today's game is called Babble Game. Oh, it's actually inspired by Red Velvet's reality show. If anyone has ever watched that, it's from Level Up Project. So, the rules are pretty simple. The goal of the game is to make others laugh. We will choose a category and we're going to say words that under that category, but there's a twist. You only have 3 seconds to think and say the word. Tapos, you cannot show your teeth and you cannot repeat the words. And you cannot laugh. So, once you've done those, you'll be eliminated from the game. So,
Paano ba yan?
Actually,
Mahilig pa naman ako tumawa.
ano ba, Nerissa, magkakaroon ba ulit tayo ng punishment today?
Gusto mo ba? Pwede naman.
Ayun na naman, just to give context, Miss Apple, for 2 episodes in a row, puro ako yung natatalo. And sabi ko, and sa last episode, nagkaroon kami ng first punishment, pinag-egyo ako. So, sige, si Miss Apple, kaya pag-isipan natin, Miss Apple, do you have any punishment that you have in mind?
Kailangan madali lang kasi baka ako yung matalo.
Ang funny nga kasi ako yung nag-introduce ng punishment last time. Ako din yung nakakuha.
Actually, wala akong maisip. Anything will do for me. Baka kayo mas
Sige.
may ideas kayo kung anong punishment.
Siguro maybe yung winner. Malaman natin pag may winner. Tapos siya yung bibigyan ng punishment sa loser. Nako,
Okay, sige. Di ako dyan.
Ayan, sige. Are we ready? Kaya ba? Kaya natin?
Kaya ba? Okay. So, our writer name prepared 2 categories for us. Sige. Papapiliin natin yung lovely guest natin kasi bakit hindi. Choose between numbers 1 and 2.
2 na lang para...
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Kulelat ako dito. Okay, since you chose number 2, our category for today is K-dramas.
Oh my gosh. Ang
Oh my
hirap
God,
niyan.
okay.
Ang haba ng listahan.
ang liit ng listahan ko. So, remember, we only have 3 seconds here and we cannot show our teeth, laugh, and repeat the words. So, fighting. Let's go.
Okay, kaya ba?
So,
Kaya ba?
kanino magsa-start?
Siguro, ako na lang muna. Ako,
Okay.
tapos si Miss Apple, tapos ikaw.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh my
Jake.
God.
Okay. Bilisan na natin. Okay. Bawal ngipin, di ba? Bawal ngipin.
Bawal.
tumawa.
Bawal tumawa. Ang
Hindi
smile
pwede
ba
ulitin yung
considered?
word. Smile considered? Siguro, ish. Sige. Oh
Depende
my gosh,
sa
ang
tawa.
hirap. Depende sa tawa siguro. Sige.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, guys. Naririnig niyo pa ba ako, mga listeners? Ito practice round.
Hulaan nyo kung ano yung pinagsasabi namin pag nag-start na yung game.
Sana maintindihan niyo kami. Okay, let's G. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Ayan. Nasanay na tuloy na naka-cover yung bunga ko. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go! The world of the married.
Penthouse.
Favorite gift.
Crash landing on you.
That baking
What overpower?
Itaewon class.
the
Oh! Oh! Oh!
In sound ding. Paano ba yan, Miss Dana?
Ay, teka, ako na ba? Ako na ba?
Oo, di ba yung flow natin?
Hindi kasi, hindi ko narinig masyado yung sinabi. Kala ko yun na ba yun? Kala ko nag-sound lang siya. Oh my God, okay. Considered ba yun? Oh my goodness. Ilang points ba? Ilang points ba? My goodness.
Gusto ba isang round pa? Pwede
Isa
naman.
pa. Oh my goodness.
Sige. Since
Okay.
nabanggit na natin ang K-dramas, gusto mo mag-K-pop naman.
Sige, pwede naman.
Okay,
Sige.
G.
Okay. Go. Ito na talaga.
List of K-pop groups, okay. Okay, G. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Stray Kids,
icon,
Efrem.
Blackpink,
Big Bang,
EKS.
Girls' Generation,
Dreamer,
Uwergunyar.
GOT7. And dang!
nakaka-mental blackout.
Ayan! Paano ba
Yay!
yan?
Paano yan? Consider ba to as tie? What if
Gusto mo
ano?
isa pa?
Ano, pareho kami. Ay, kaya pa mo isa pa?
Mag-duel kayo, ganon.
Uy, it's either mag-isa pa tayo or kaming dalawa ni Miss Apple lang.
Pwede mag-duel kayo. Sige, bibigyan ko kayo ng para mahirap. Bigyan
Oh
ko kayo
my
ng
God.
category. Okay. Since natalo ang ating dalawang mga kaibigan dito, ang
Lord.
penalty niyo for today is mag-send kayo ng voice message kay bias nyo. Yeah! Dapat yung kunwari, magjowa kayo tapos long distance relationship, ganon. Ano ang masasabi mo para sa jowa mong bias mo? Yes! Okay, so who wants to go first?
Wait,
Turuan kayo,
pa
go.
ako.
Gusto ko from the heart, From the
Mag-iisip
yung-
pa ba si Apple?
babe, kumain ka na ba? Ganon! Namiss na kita. Yeah! Okay, dapat yung maiiyak para plus points.
My goodness.
Ang
Ay, so,
pressure!
ano ba? Meron ba mananalo sa punishment? Parang may separate game ata dito.
Hindi, wala. Punishment lang. Okay, so sino mauna sa inyo?
Sige. Ako na
Okay,
mauuna. Oh my God, ito
Siyempre,
na
ikaw
naman
ready ka na.
tayo.
Wedding vow mo yan, girl.
Sige. Actually, nag-prepare na ako ng wedding vows ever since nag-adore you era. Hi!
You dedicate this message to?
Mr. Joshua Hong.
Okay, let's go, Dana.
Opa! Char!
Yeah!
Joke. Sige. Hi, babe. Chart ulit. Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3,
Ayun.
go.
Hi, Jisoo. Okay, so sakto din because we were, sige, bawal mag-Tagalog because hindi ako sige, okay. Jisoo, actually for our episode today, we're gonna be talking about your influence or K-idols' influence to their fans. And I would say that you're one of the people who has given me a lot of inspiration, and you are also the reason, this is no joke, the reason why I know the meaning of what pure love is. So, oh my God, that's so cheesy, but I also want to congratulate you because yesterday it was announced that you are part of Billboard, and it has always been a dream of yours. So I'm always looking after you, and I'm very proud, and I'd like to congratulate you. You have grown into a fine gentleman because I've seen you way before, even though you're older than me. But yeah, I love you so much, and I'll see you soon. Yes, bye.
Taray, sana all jowa.
Wow!
Narinig ko ba yan, Joshua?
Sobrang genuine ka doon.
Oo, totoo
Biglang
yan.
lang, wow. Parang kulang lang yung background music ng piano. Ayan.
Ayan, Miss Apple, ready ka na ba sa iyong message? This message is dedicated to...
Kim Handy.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, dear Kim Hanbin, I hope all is well with you. We can't wait to see you soon as well. We miss you so much, and we're all waiting for your solo debut. We hope to see you soon too.
Taray! Ayan.
Ang wholesome, napaka-wholesome.
Totoo, o, diba? At least nasabi niya na yung inyong
O,
nararamdaman
diba?
sa
Ay,
inyong
medyo hindi
faves.
naman punishment. Masaya naman ako.
O, diba? Alright, so I guess that wraps up our game, mini game. Now, let's move on to our content. Alright, now that we're energized, let's get to our discussion for today.
So, for this episode, we will be talking about Korean idols' influence on fans, idol fan culture, how idols affect fans' offline lives, and how this affects the environment around fans. So, let's go through each part bit by bit.
Okay, let's start with how Korean idols influence fans. But before we go further, I think it's important for us to know what an influencer is.
By definition, an influencer is someone with the ability to affect their audience's decision making. They can do so because of their authority, their knowledge, position, or relationship with their audience.
So, dududung. Miss Apple, in your own words, how do Korean idols influence fans?
How do they influence? Depende. Parang for me kasi, they're like a role models kasi for fans eh. So, I think that's one factor kung paano nila ni-influence yung fans kasi yeah, fans look up unto them. So, yun.
Totoo yan. Especially na each group or each member of the group has their own story na feeling ko kung sino man yung sino man yung nag-idolize sa kanila nakaka-relate din at some point or nakakakuha rin ng inspiration from them, diba?
Yeah, similar din sa what we mentioned din from previous episodes in Nerissa, how she mentioned na she is a fan of Stray Kids and I'm a fan of G-Friend, and we mentioned na mostly it's because of their story and how they started. And from there on, dun na nagkakaroon na ng inspiration ng fans. Like, dun pa lang naka-influence sila in a way na, wow, this is where they started. And it gives a sense of hope for those who follow them.
Aside from that, diba, actually, yung mga idols na fina-follow natin, meron talaga silang parang plano. Unlike yung comeback plans, may mga other plans pa sila na ginagawa. Alam nyo ba yung mga artists na nagka-contribute din to sa mga awareness campaigns, yung mga UNICEF, ganon. May kilala ba kayo personally na idol? Na...
Alam ko si Siwon, di ba?
Choi Siwon ba?
Oo. I know he's an ambassador for UNICEF. Tapos, alam ko din BTS spoke sa UN, talking about love yourself campaign yun, I believe.
Yeah.
Tapos Blackpink then recently they're also an ambassador for the environment then under the UN.
Ikaw, Miss Apple, may mga kilala ka ba na mga idols?
Maging bias ako, yeah. Kim Hanbin, like, yung na-release ng love streaming album is a donation fan project that will be donated for World Vision that supports children who are in need. So, yun.
O, diba?
So, yung streaming, all royalties and everything will be donated sa World Vision.
Wow.
Diba yung album niya, limited lang?
For 10,000.
Grabe.
Whoa.
Yeah. And sobra grabe ngayon kasi yung mga nagre-resell, they sell it sobrang overpriced na.
Oh my.
Kasi limited.
Ang cute nga nung inclusion nun ni Band 8.
Band 8 sticker.
Oo, diba? At least, alam mo yun, yung parang you also have, as an idol, parang may opportunities ka na pag ginawa mo yung opportunity mo na yun, to contribute to society. Sumusunod din yung fans mo sa ginagawa.
Yeah, they inspire you to do good things as well.
Totoo.
Kaya nga, diba sabi, when you have an avenue, it's already your responsibility to make use of the platform that you have, knowing that you have influence. Ikaw nang bahala kung saan mo gagamitin yung influence mo on people. And it's just a really good sight to see when idols are aware of the amount of influence they have and utilize it para they could do good.
Totoo.
And fans
yan.
would eventually follow them as well.
Actually, speaking of following, may mga times din na, alam mo yung pag bumibili yung idol mo ng product.
Oh, no!
Tapos isi-share niya sa social media. Tapos kinabukasan, sold out na.
Gusto ko lang malaman if guilty din kayo kasi ako guilty ako
Girl,
dito.
alam mo ba yung kay Jungkook? Nabalitaan niyo ba yung about sa lip balm niya at saka yung sa Downy? Actually, natatawa ako doon. Kasi yung every time talaga na naglalabas si Jungkook or parang nalalaman ng mga fans kung ano yung ginagamit niya, the next day nasa-sold out na siya. To the point na sasabihin na ni Jungkook na, guys, maawa naman kayo sa akin, wala na akong mabili dahil sa inyo.
I think I've read an article about that. Pero kasi normal, like, for me kasi, usually kapag idols, lahat ng items nila are branded yung mga sobrang mahal. So when fans see certain item na they're using na affordable, syempre it's like kahit sabihin na simple connection with them that they're using what you are using. So yun, kaya siguro isa din siya. Which is libreng marketing for the brands, lalo na kung hindi naman nila ini-endorse.
Totoo. Actually, may mga nakikita ako na group order shop sa Twitter na pati hindi lang album or merch yung nire-release nilang forms, pati na rin yung kung ano yung sinusuot ng idols. Ang galing nga Ang mahal niya, friend. Pero marami pa rin kumukuha. Di ba? Kunwari walang pera, tapos masa-sold out agad.
Ang alam ko din, kasama rin yun sa very open yung mga idols na parang, kunwari mag-i-introduce siya na parang there's this thing that I'm using pero hindi ko sasabihin sa inyo. Kasi pag sinabi ko to sa inyo, mawawalan ako. Alam ko yung mga ganun Open naman sila, aware sila na nauubusan sila pag nagsabi sila. Ayan, totoo yan. Actually, kasama ako dyan. Meron nag-mention sa chat namin, one of our scriptwriters, project heads. Yung dun sa Lotto, na-mention yung lipstick, Chateau, yung bit color, and they were mentioning this certain lip tint na wine yung itsura nung lip tint. And it tastes and smells like wine. And guilty ako for buying it.
Bumili ka?
Oo, it's nice.
Diba?
It tastes good. It tastes like wine. Actually, ako din. Madami ako. Pati yung sa shampoo, because diba mahilig mag-vlog. Yung may mga reality show, yung mga idol. Tapos may kita mo yung daily lives nila. And then you would see sa background, yung ma-recognize mo yung certain products. And parang that was way before yung kay Jessica and Chrystal na-recognize ko yung shampoo. And then eventually I bought the shampoo. Okay naman siya. It smelled nice. Diba? Ang dami, diba?
Sa mga ganyan, paminsan, okay lang naman siya. Pero paminsan, negative din siya at some point.
That's true.
Diba? Negative siguro in terms of, opinion ko lang. Negative in terms of obsession. Pero, not that, naman. Pero, you get my point pa.
Yeah.
For me, because... sige, go ahead.
Sorry.
For me kasi, yung negative siguro, pinaka-negative is yung mag-negative yung balance ng wallet mo.
Yeah, well, that's part.
O yung yun, like, unless you have ready money for it, it's okay. Kaya lang kasi may mga items na super expensive talaga na minsan hindi na siya healthy for you to spend on those items. Pero kasi merong mga ibang ganun. So, ang nag-end up kasi is some people are scamming other people na lang din. Kaya,
there were times na fans would be caught up in certain fan wars. So kaya, idols, they are human too and they tend to make mistakes. But it's not doesn't really mean that they are right. But there are times na fans tend to lose their own principles for the sake of trying to defend a certain person that they idolize. There's always two sides of the story, but it's okay to keep an open mind, but there are times wherein fans tend to just blindly follow their idol. And, loyalty is good, but you need to draw the line when it's already touching on your own principles.
Mas madaming ganito. I mean, yung toxic mentality. I think halos lahat ng fandom may mga ganitong klaseng fans.
Kahit may tahimik na fandom, pero meron pa
Meron
rin.
at meron. Kasi nga, ewan ko, meron sa kanila, nire-release nila yung hate nila sa reality sa inside the fandom world. Hindi ko rin magets. But then siguro yung blindly love towards the idol kasi, awan ko, opinion for myself is, meron kasing, iniintindi ko na lang, kasi may mga tao talaga na blindly love talaga sa mga idols nila. But then, meron din naman kasing mga mature enough to step back and see how the picture, yung full picture, kung ano ba talaga nangyari, and then wait for kung ano talaga yung result. Kasi minsan, masyadong nanegate through media nauuna yung kung ano yung nirelease ng media, yun lang yung inaalam ng mga tao. Yun lang yung nakakarating
That's
sa kanila.
true.
So,
Mas keep an open mind. I think yun talaga.
yun din yung sa ano. Pero kasi yun nga, meron pang mga immature fans regarding those issues and all. So, it's either you educate them or let them grow with it. Like, sila mismo yung explore or mag-grow from that certain mentality.
Going back nga dun sa dun sa na-mention a while ago, yung parang it's their responsibility nga yung idols to keep them in line, kasi similarly din dun na meron silang influence, knowing that they have their influence. Parang yun talaga yung responsibility na knowing that these are your audience, these are the people that you can influence. You should have the responsibility to make sure that they're not crossing borders, lalo pag nakakasal. Kasi yun nga yung toxic in social media, yung mga fan behavior, usually na umaabot na sa point na nagkakaroon na ng personal attacks, diba? What do you think about this, Nerissa?
Actually, now that you mentioned it, may mga idols din na, yun nga, what you said, they try to keep their fans in line. Kahit na, alam mo naman sa industry, I mean, yung mga, kung sino man yung nasa, tawag dito, yung mga managers nila, di ba, every time na kunwari, nag-VV live, may nagbabantay sa kanila. So, parang they can't say that much regarding the issues that they're having.
That's true din naman.
Pero siguro, i-segue ko na lang. I can cite an example. Siyempre, one of my boys, si Bang Chan, actually, sa amin, sa fandom namin, we know that he's watching over us. I mean, everyone is watching over us. Pero si Bang Chan talaga yung taga-kalma sa amin. Kasi there was this one issue before na nag-start ng almost mag-start na ng fan war. Or parang may something na issue regarding kay Bang Chan. And then he's trying to parang send us a message na you guys should know better than that. I am watching over you. Parang ganun yung message niya sa amin. To the point na parang sa fandom namin, natuto na kami makipag-usap na parang, guys, kalma lang. Alam nyo, kung ano yung mga nasasabi nyo online, nadadama yung pangalan ng mga idols na fina-follow natin. Ayun. And I guess, hindi lang si Bang Chan, marami ring other idols there na pwedeng, yun nga, taking the same steps as him, which is good na in terms of responsibilities.
At least he has meron kasi other idols that don't have the same privileges to keep that much of an open relationship with their fans. Na at least he was transparent, no? Pero some talaga hindi din nila kayang gawin yun as much as they try. Pero hopefully naman, if alam nila na meron silang ganong klaseng privilege, I hope that they would be able to step up and take the initiative to do the same thing.
Wala naman, like, meron din naman akong, alam mo, certain groups that pinapagalitan nila yung fandoms nila. Kapag nag-a-act up na masyado,
G-friend.
Hindi, alam ko ang winner din, like, si Hoon. Kapag medyo nag-a-act up na yung fandom, yung mga fans nila, alam ko sinasaway niya din eh.
Ayan. So, I guess may mga special mention tayo na idols today. Wow! And actually, marami pa tayo magpapag-usapan habang nag-uusap. Okay, so now that we've talked about how idols can influence fans both positively and negatively, and I guess we've covered interesting examples of these. Now, based on these examples, we can see how idols and fans have such an interesting relationship, no?
Yes, I think this kind of relationship then kasi is possible because there are a lot of events na you could really get in touch with them, like fan meetings, live streams, and even on social media where idols and fans can connect with each other. So parang sa Weavers, diba, may kita mo, ang daming notifications because they're interacting with their fans. So with these interactions, idols tend to influence some of their fans' choices from the products they buy, the cosmetics that they use, and the clothes that they wear, for example.
Yes, all right. Now with that, I guess we can focus on how these interactions can affect fans' purchase behaviors then. Oh, ito na. Oh my gosh.
Ayan na.
Now our research team found that there are 3 types of purchasers. Wow, light, there's medium, and there's heavy. Oh my gosh.
So, anong type kaya? What type kaya?
Okay,
Sige,
so for
what type are we?
So for everyone's references, grabbing references. Okay, the light purchasers are mainly guided by price and practical features. Yung medium and heavy purchasers, guided naman din sila on both price and practical features. Pero I guess it's more on scarcity regarding this. So scarcity in a sense na it refers to yung mga rare and limited edition goods. And I guess what makes someone a heavy purchaser are the as opposed to light and medium type is that they are mainly guided by the scarcity aspect.
Okay. So, yun ko, by your definition, I think I know what type I fall into. Disclose ko pa ba? Pero, Apple, I'm curious. Tingin mo, saan ka nagko-fall under dun sa types na binanggit ni Nerissa?
Meron bang gitna ng medium tsaka heavy? Siguro, pwede natin pasok sa heavy. Pero kasi, depends kasi kung...
Sa release.
Oo, kasi I don't usually buy merch unless like yung mga light sticks, yung talagang nagagamit ko talaga.
Yung albums ba, kinokollect mo?
I used to, but then...
Hindi na.
Na-realize mo na yung na papel lang siya.
Mas nag-focus. I collect photo cards pa din naman. So,
alipin pa rin naman sa papel.
pero, nabawasan lang. Kaya nga, baka merong between light, medium tsaka heavy. Kasi, depends eh. Parang may pinipili lang ako kung ano yung kukolektahin ko.
Bumibili ka ba ng mga ang tawag doon? Yung mga concert merchandise or mga photo books, ganon, special photo books?
Hindi ako more on doon. Na-realize ko lang last year na parang naka-display lang siya. Siguro, though, as your age goes by, parang yung priorities mo, kung ano yung sa tingin mo mas alam mong mapipili mo siya eh. Pero siguro nung mga tayo nag-start ako, impulsive talaga. Like
Totoo yan. Parang dumaan tayo sa punto na may face na mapapa-impulsive buying ka. Pero may mga times din na magkaka-self-realization ka na, ay, kailangan ko na atang kumalma. Kaya marami rin ako nakikita sa Twitter na quitting sale, mga gano'n. Diba?
So yun. Dumating na ako sa place na yung pag-splurge talaga. Bibili ko to, kailangan ko to, wala ako nito, ganyan. But then yun nga, dumating na sa point na parang, pero no regrets kasi everything naman, it made me happy.
At least, diba?
Yun naman. Yun yung importante sa lahat. Pero
Oo.
umabot ba sa time na, di ba, ang hilig nila magkaroon ng versions per album? Kino-complete mo ba yung mga si Nerissa? Yung reaction ni Nerissa?
Nati-trigger ako.
Pero si Apple, yung versions, kino-complete mo ba yun pag may comeback?
Yes, I do. Pero kasi sa YG naman, more on kasi YG instance, so usually ang versions lang naman nila, maximum lang ata yung sa
Dalawa.
Big Bang. Yung usual dalawa lang, pero yung maximum natin sa Big Bang yung anim. Yung made.
Anim?
Oh, wow.
Or-
Kinomplete mo yun?
Oh, pero yun nga, na-sell ko na siya after some time.
Grabe.
And Nerissa, ano masasabi mo sa version?
Oh my gosh! Nakita niyo naman yung reaction ko kanina. Okay, so since napag-usapan ni Apple YG, ako naman JYP. Alam niyo ba si JYP? I mean, in terms of, si JYP in terms of album, sulit siya. That's a point. Parang sulit yung pera mo kasi marami siyang inclusion sa loob ng album. Actually, sa Stray Kids album nga, tatlo yung photo cards. And usually, ang ginagawa nilang method for selling Stray Kids albums, may limited version, tapos may dalawang other versions. Ganun na lang lagi. Sana hindi na magbago yun. Kasi okay na ako dun eh. meron nga yung to the point na nagpapanik kami kasi baka daw 8 albums. Kasi parang yung ginagawa ng EXO na per member. May version. Sana hindi sila mapunta sa puntong ganun. Kasi grabe na. Kapitalista na yun, friend.
At least
Ayan.
kahit paano sulit na yun sa ganun. Kung merong mga limited edition.
Totoo. Miss Apple, working ka ba? Working ka na, di ba?
I used to work sa ibang bansa, but then yun nga, yung sa family, so I need to stay in the Philippines. So, yun.
Pero may online business ka, di ba?
Yes, I do have, like, Korean foods, and sometimes nag-open din ako ng group orders, kasi yung mga request ng mutuals to open, kasi nga masyado naman, yung iba kasi, friends ko din yung ibang sellers, yun, para lang masabay din yung copies ko or item.
Ayun. Since nabanggit mo na yun, how do you save your money to buy merch? Curious lang ako. On the working perspective na. Kasi kami student kami, may sarili din kaming methods on earning. Di ba, Dana?
Ay.
Di ba, Dana?
Lalo ngayon, wala kaming wala kaming
Walang
business.
allowance.
Wala yung allowance namin.
Kaya yung discard.
So, I want to hear from you.
Ewan ko, depende siguro. Kasi ako, ever since naman, nag-start ako mag-fangirl, working na ako eh. And then eventually, when I was talagang involved na on fangirling, like yung nag-open ng projects and all, meron na ako, nagtatabi talaga ako ng savings for it. Or yun, para ma-support yung projects that we have, we open fan projects, which is, yung fan projects namin is not just to have donations directly. Yung usual fan projects namin, kailangan pati yung fans itself na nagsusupport has something on their, parang they buy something, yung worth ng money nila, makukuha din nila, and they get to help other people. So, tuloy yung usually ginagawa namin.
Swerte
Ikaw,
pala
Dana.
nakapag-start na. Saving?
Ikaw, Dana, na-curious ako. As a college student, how do you earn your money for your merch?
Hindi ko makain.
Grabe! Di nga!
Oo, promise. Actually, di ba, alam mo naman yun, Nerissa, nag-start ako around 2009, 2010. It's kind of sad. Kasi syempre, I remember as early as grade 5, kasi fan na ako ng Girls' Generation, dun pa lang nag-start na yung hindi ako kumakain so I can save.
So, nakabase sa allowance na.
Inisip ko naman medyo helpful kasi I can eat at home. Tapos, para, ang hilig ko kasi kumain, so mababawasan yung laman na makakain ko. Pero, ayun.
Di kumakain in terms of outside. Pero sa bahay
outside.
kumakain.
Oo,
Ayun.
Oo, doon
Yun
na lang sa
yun.
bahay.
Nakala ko hindi ka kumakain talaga. Grabe, girl.
Siguro, well, sa bagay, kasi ang hirap din kasi, isipin mo yan, as a kid, tapos whole day ka na sa school, tapos ititiis mo yan hanggang ano. Pero, it's applicable din naman, in general, when saving. Parang, if there are more cheaper alternatives na parang, if you can eat at home, then eat at home. Or if you can, like, spend the least amount of money possible while you're outside. Ganun din naman talaga yung magiging saving. Miss Nerissa, ikaw ang dami mong nakikita, like maya yung mga IG story mo, ang dami mong binibili, tapos gulat na gulat ako when you saw na you bought 3 boxes for the Clio package ng Stray Kids.
Bakit mo ako ina-out dito? Hindi pwede yun. Foul.
Yun? Pero saan nanggagaling? How do you save?
Okay, actually. Sige, bigyan ko na rin ng little TMI si Ate Apple. Actually, Apple. Ako, nag-start ako mga 2008 din. Same as Dana. So, nung kasi, I live in another country. So, parang wala akong access to buying merchandise from my favorites, di ba? So, nung nakauwi na ako ng Pilipinas, ang gastos kong tao. As in, parang yung mga lahat ng inipon ko nung nandun pa ako sa ibang bansa, nilabas ko na siya nung nandito ako sa Pilipinas to the point na hindi ko na makontrol yung sarili ko. And parang, siguro nung high school ako, naisip ko na lang na, I think I should stop na kasi parang yung pera na ginagamit ko is the money that my parents worked hard for. So, nag-isip ako ng alternative na pwede kong gamitin para pag ginastos ko na siya, hindi ako magsisisi na parang, nanggaling siya sa pamilya ko. Actually, masasatisfy ako kasi sa akin galing. Parang ako yung nag-work hard for it. Ayun. So then, nag-start ako ng business ko. Which is, nag-open ako ng shop ko. Pero nung nag-open ako ng shop ko, college na. Pero siguro nung high school ako, ganon, iniipon ko na siya. Parang kung anong allowance na tatanggap ko, hinahati ko siya. And then, ito for merch, and then ito for myself, ganon. Ayun, patuloy-tuloy na yun. Hanggang sa ako na lang yung financially. For my own 3 boxes of Clio. Wow!
Actually, I have the same mentality. Kaya naisip ko na nung grade 6 ako. Kaya gusto kong wag na lang kumain. Kasi nahihiya ako, like, ever since ayokong manghihingi ng money sa parents ko. Lalo na album yung pupuntahan niya. Hindi naman siya essential goods. Ganon. So, I want to have it from, like, my own allowance, my own savings.
I hope may nakuhang tips ang ating listeners dito. Ayan, guys. So, kung nafe-feel nyo na parang, yun nga, kung na-feel nyo yung same na feelings ko, na ayokong gumastos kasi pera yun ng magulang ko, try to, like, find something that you love doing. Para you get to earn for yourself and you get to buy from what you earn. Ba may tawag doon? What's the word? Fulfillment. Ayun, self-fulfillment. Ayan. Okay, speaking of which, aside from purchasing behaviors na napag-usapan natin, ito na nga. So, may mga fans nga that tend to buy products from brands their idols endorse, tulad ko.
Guilty.
Which can lead to an increase in sales for the brand. Anong example na maganda dito, Miss Dana?
Actually, ang dami. Pero an example that comes to mind when about this is, di ba recently, MAC Cosmetics posted an announcement that Lisa from Blackpink is their new endorser. So, from that, yung post nila got over 10 million impressions across the brand's social media handles. So, I'd like to know, Miss Apple, is there a brand or product you're supporting because your favorite idols are endorsing it?
If you're gonna ask me that, a year back, yes. Pero nga, I become practical na. Siguro dahil nga nag-pandemic, so yung priorities ko nag-iba na din. Pero may mga certain brands like, actually kahit nga hindi ini-endorse like, yun nga, katulad nung kanina, like, if they use it, you'll buy it. Like, merong watch si Kim Hanbi na binili niya, medyo pang bata yung design, but then yun, na-sold out siya. Swatch swatch na watch siya na even nung pumunta, naubos siya dito sa Philippines, and nung nagbakasyon ako sa Hong Kong noon, I have to stop every swatch stores na makita ko just to ask if they have a stock. Then, inuubos ko siya kasi nga yung iba kong mutuals really want to buy those.
Wow!
Ang bait naman!
Doing it for the friends. Sana all may ganong friend.
They paid for it naman, but then yun nga, at least
At least meron na.
their own
On hand.
Ang cute naman nun. And I guess marami rin nakaka-relate sa mga ganyan.
Oo, and even makeups, diba? Perfumes,
Oo.
almost ng fandom.
Ako yun.
Even skincare.
Ako din yan. Ako din yan. Guilty.
Yan.
Actually nga ako, siguro before, hindi yung ine-endorse, like yung kay Chrystal nga, yung Etude House and nag-Clio, yun yung sinusundan ko before. Pero nag-change na yung priorities ko. Na-realize ko na most of what they're endorsing are probably not the products that they use. So, yung priorities ko na is yung alam kong ginagamit nila. So, nung lumipat doon, mas napamahal yung binibili ko kasi mas mahal talaga yung actually yung ginagamit nila.
Parang kahit dito sa Philippines naman, yung syempre yung ang target market is like for mass productions, like yung mga commercialized. So, mas cheaper siya. So, minsan hindi rin nakakapaniwala na yun yung ginagamit nila. So, yun. Totoong mapapamahal ka kapag alam mo kung ano talaga yung ginagamit nila.
Totoo. Mahal, kaya nga sinasabi nila, mahal-mahalin.
Oo, mahal-mahal.
Ang idol mo.
Again, we would like to reiterate that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not represent those of the organization, the university, and its stakeholders.
So with this, we know that idols can influence us in so many aspects of our lives. Although we mostly interact with them online, can these interactions also affect us offline?
Actually, that's a good question and a really relevant one too. While we need more research to study the connection between offline behavior and the relationship we have with other idols, some published research found that idols can actually affect mental health and opinions.
As far as offline behavior is concerned, I guess idols can also influence fans' perspective. Yun nga, tulad, like what you said, yung mga opinions nila and beliefs.
Actually, research has shown that fans learn to appreciate the beauty of media texts not in their native languages. So actually nga, ang daming mga fans, ang daming idols na nagsasabi nito. Like, one example is Chong ha. She's actually very proud daw na how the Korean wave is actually really spreading because it goes to show that, because they're really musicians there, and their passion goes into the art that they make, and it transcends languages. That's what music is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be just stuck in one language. The music that you make should reach everyone, and that's a whole different language. So ayun, the fans are now more open to these cultures, and they really start to appreciate it more and be more open to, like, despite the language barrier. Miss Apple, when you first started like getting into Korean culture, did you notice that there was a shift on how you saw like foreign media or any kind of like culture na hindi or of your own?
Siguro yung maano sila masyado on their culture, masyado nila napapahalagan yung culture nila. That's one thing that dumating ako sa point that I studied their history. Pero hindi, yun nga. Kasi nga sobrang haba. So, parang, dun ako na parang, at least until now, they still preserve yung culture nila, even in modern times. So, yun.
Actually, speaking of that, like learning their culture talaga deeper. Pero alam niyo yung, kunwari pag sinasabihan ka ng ibang tao na, inaalam mo yung culture nila dahil lang sa idol mo. Pero may mga fans na inaaral nila yung culture just because they're really interested in it. And it's not just because of kung ano yung nabigay ng Kpop sa kanila. Especially din sa language. 'Di ba, yung mga nakikita natin sa social media, like sa TikTok for example, may mga trends na may mga trending na nangyayari na yung you learn about K-pop, you learn about Korean kasi it's your you want to communicate with your idol, ganyan. Gusto mo maging Korea boo, and then sasagot sila na parang bakit ikaw ba, marunong ka ba? Para sa akin, natuto ako ng language na yun kasi I find the beauty in it. And it's different. And it's fun to learn another language kasi it improves you as a person as well. Diba?
Definitely.
Parang for me, yun, your idols is just like a door. Parang sila lang yung naging pinto for you to explore yung culture, their food and everything. But then kasi nandun din yung curiosity mo about it, like, and it made you interested to know about those things. Like katulad ko, I'm not really, hindi ako kumakain ng kimchi noon. But then I get to love it. Then yun nga, and their food, in-explore ko din, inaral ko din yung mga how they
Personally, ang dami ko rin natutunan actually. With my years of experience sa K-pop, and parang nabigyan ako ng opportunity to explore rin on what's in Korea. So, nung pumunta ako sa Korea actually, di ba, what we know, what we see on media, yung mga places like Namsan Tower, ganyan, basta yung mga tourist attractions sa Korea and yung mga entertainment companies, di ba? Usually, pag K-pop fan ka, yun lang yung agenda mo. Pero pag nakapunta ka doon, and then, you have the chance to explore other than those tourist attractions, ang dami mo rin matututunan in terms of their culture. Parang, aside from tawag dito, aside from what you see on media, yun nga, there's more on what meets the eye. Wow! On what meets the eye, ang deep. Ayun. And then for me, I think na, yun nga, dumating na ako sa punto na it's not, like, my everyday life revolves around learning more on what's in Korea. Other than just following my idols and catching up with K-dramas. Because there's something in me. Like, I think there's something in my soul. Na parang, yun nga, parang, I want more. I want to know more. I want to get to know others more. And at the same time, na-involved din ako sa other cultures din, other than Korean. Which is parang, naging starting point ko si Korea. To get to know more and accept others' cultures as well. O, diba? Pa!
Actually, sakto yun sa akin because I'm an international studies student and I feel ko I wouldn't have come across this course like on its own na parang sure I actually liked like Japanese culture before even getting into Korean culture, pero I really delved into the cultural aspect, like not just the entertainment part, like more than just the art sector of their country. Pero ayun, because nakita ko nga ang daming from their dramas, from the material that they release, talagang there's a slice of what Korea is. So you tend to get into it more, and because of that I am now more open. No, from the when younger me, I became a lot more open to other cultures. And dun ko din na-realize na parang it's a big world. Like, it's not just yung everyday environment mo. It's not just the Philippines that's here. There are also a lot of people from all across the world. It's a big place. So, ayun. And then eventually, I became an international studies student. So, dun ko talagang naging mas nakita ko talaga like the whole nag-grasp ko na talaga na it's important na din yung baka mapupunta na ako sa diplomatic relations aspect niya, pero ayun na nga, parang naging dun na nga din yung start ko. It started from Korea and now it introduced me to a whole different world. It's big. So that's at least for me, yun yung naging impact sa akin na pati sa career ko, nagkaroon na rin siya ng unconsciously, nagkaroon siya ng influence sa akin.
Speaking of career though, actually, parang yun din yung Korean. Iba-iba naman yung storya ng tao, pero for me, Korean, parang doon ko lang na-realize din yung career na gusto kong gawin. Oo. Actually, being an advertising major, parang napaisip din ako na it doesn't limit my career kung ano man yung matatapos kong degree. Actually, I wanted to be hindi wanted. I want to be a production, parang yung sa mga mga event.
Hoy, same.
Event.
Oo.
And then, na-realize ko lang yon when I was in high school, senior high school, when I attended the concert, BTS concert. Doon lang nag-snap sa akin kung ano talaga yung gusto kong ma-achieve sa buhay ko. Like, nung going into senior high, di ba, parang hindi ko pa alam kung ano yung, kasi malawak yung opportunities mo dun kung anong gusto mong kunin sa college, and then kung ano nang gusto mong gawin after college. Sa akin talaga, as in, wala pa akong plano sa buhay nun. But then and there, nung pagka-start pa lang nung pagkapasok ko pa lang sa concert hall, parang it was a sign. It was like, oh, ito na yon. I think this is it. This is what I've been looking for. And ito pala yung, yun nga, ito pala yung feeling ko magiging end game ko pag lumaki na ako. Ayun.
Actually, on that part naman, dun ko rin na-realize yung I actually have, or no, I don't wanna say I have a talent for it. More on na-realize ko na I actually have a passion for dancing, and na-open siya because of getting into Kpop.
Actually,
and na yun. But I actually also have a question for Miss Apple. Since she got into Kpop na she's already working, do you think naman na there are similar na parang yung sa amin, kasi na-influence yung what we wanna do dun sa formative years namin, sobrang malaki yung influence siya in a way, because we realized what we wanted to do, or na meron pala kaming parts na to na, we are interested in this pala. Do you have something like that na parang nag-change yung, hindi naman nag-change, parang influence yung mindset mo, or parang yung work ethic mo, or how you want to progress yung career path mo? Meron bang ganun na because of Korean culture or K-pop in general?
Siguro more on na-expand yung creativity and yung ideas on planning. Kasi, yun, like, there are things like yung sa mga editings and yung mga those kind of stuff, hindi naman talaga ako magaling. But then, you get to learn from it na parang dahil nandun yung inspired ka, gusto mo kakaiba, gusto mo ma-put into work yung ideas mo. Yun, natututo ako by pushing myself kasi nga, ayun.
Totoo.
Yun, sa ideas itself, kasi like, when there are certain things na gusto mo unique and kakaiba, so yung, kasi minsan kapag sa work, repetitive na lang naging repetitive na lang yung nangyayari. So, when there may bagong idea and na pumapasok, yun naman.
Actually, speaking of planning, nakaka-relate ako dyan. Parang, kasi, di ba, like Apple, yung mga ginagawa niyang projects outside her work, parang, you get to learn more than what you usually learn, like routinary sa work or sa school, ganun. There's parang maraming other lessons ka na matututunan in terms of how to communicate with the fans, as well as yung pagpa-planning mo sa events, as well as kung ano yung makukuha mo from what you did. Ayun. And I guess others can relate as well sa ganitong mga pinagagawa namin sa buhay namin. Di ba?
Oo naman.
Ayan. So far, we've talked about how Korea in general has influenced us as fans then. But, sige, let's turn it up a bit. Can fans affect their peers and environment around them? What do you think, Taya?
Me, oo. Actually, pero sakto na rin yung question ko kay Ate Apple kanina. You have actually projects that are really focused or centered on really helping people. Before ba, were you already some sort of an advocate? Like, were you already the type talaga to do outreach programs or do donation drives? And, or is it like the other way around? Like, was it after nung nagkaroon ka ng, you saw na there's this avenue na because you have this community na dun mo na realize na you can do this? Like, what was the process na before you started those?
I started, nasa fandom na ako. I mean, I started fangirling. Kasi before, kasi personally, hindi nga ako ma-socialize type of person. And there are things na merong parang limited lang for you to do those things. Plus, yung parang feeling mo wala ka rin naman makakasama to do those things. So, nung I meet someone na ganun yung ginagawa. Like, yung kasama ko na co-admin ko sa Maripok Nation, si Bam, she's been doing those things na ahead. Kasi din siya, mas nauna siya sa pagiging fangirl. Doon na yung na parang, doon ako na-touch na parang, hindi lang to basta fangirling. It's also, meron din siyang good side na parang, na hindi nakikita ng ibang tao, na yung una ginajudge na parang, ano ba yan? Ba't ganyan? Pero, yun nga, doon na ako nag-start. Doon na ako nag-start no mag-share and do those community projects nga. Parang, sometimes meron lang isang connection for you to do those things. Yun na yung opportunity na nag-open sa akin to
That's so
have
nice.
those projects.
Actually, in the case of, aside from those who create projects, feeling ko as a fan, pag nakakapag-contribute ka or nakakatulong ka in these projects, malaki rin yung sense of fulfillment mo, di ba? At pag nakita mo yung kung saan mapupunta yung binigay mong help, parang na-feel mo rin na, may nagawa din pala ako para sa community natin. Not just because it's what my idols advocate for as well. Pero it's some personal mo rin siya. Actually, di ba uso ngayon yung mga community pantries
Ayun na mismo.
na nasa COVID-19 na situation. Na-amaze ako sa mga tao na yun kahit ang tawag dito, yun nga, pandemic, and then pwede mo naman siya gawin by your name. Pero they want to do it in the name of their idols as well. Parang, what are your thoughts on this?
Nagkakaroon ng sense of oneness. Parang yun nga yung because of the community. Parang I'm glad na meron silang ganun. Kasi they've been doing this not only during the pandemic. Like, ayun, na-mention din ni Apple kanina, like, she's not actually the only one who's who started doing fan projects pag may birthday. Sobrang daming ganyan na pag birthday magkakaroon ng event na would go to a certain cause, tapos ang mangyayari pa is under their name din, o kaya magdo-donate din. Ang dami ring drives, like, towards animal cruelty, mga ganun, ang dami kong nakikitang ganun. So, pati diba yung sinasabi mo last time sa akin, Nerissa, yung dun sa concert donations and sa mga showcase nila, may mga ganun din.
Yung may mga pabigas pag before the show, ipapakita nila sa fans kung ito yung mga dinonate namin at ito yung organization na donatean namin, di ba? Nakaka-amaze talaga. And it goes worldwide, not just in the Philippines and Korea. Ganda talaga ng influence, no?
So, ang in fairness talaga na parang there's something siguro na, siguro I'm a bit biased na I'm part of this community, so I know talaga na this is happening, and I'm not really sure sa mga other fan bases. Pero, diba, saan ka nakakita ng talagang, just because you are standing this certain group, na isipin mo na lang na, okay, we want to make a donation drive under this name, and let's all help each other out. And then everyone's very willing, and it's a community talaga. It's more than actually a community. It's kind of like a family kind of vibe, and they just wanna give back. Other than that pa, diba, BTS is big on the Love Yourself campaign. And actually, ako naman, I think then I also discovered parts of me na advocate because of being in the community, like not just because of idols, but also because of the community that I'm in. I became more open and more aware of social issues. So that's when I realized that I'm actually an advocate for mental health. I'm an advocate for gender equality. So it's not just the idols that have a huge influence, but also the community itself, the fan bases, the the fan clubs mismo, meron ding influence sa mga fans. So it's also important to point out that the K-pop community is continuously growing. Fans get to meet people from different countries through this community and people who share similar advocacies. So hence, K-pop fans also induce change and spread social awareness about controversial issues. So parang na nga din yung na-experience ko firsthand.
Totoo. Overall, this shows that fans do not just support their idols, but they also create a community that allows them to help others. So, wow, happy ending.
So now we are moving on to our song recommendation segment that you guys are always looking for. And yung songs actually are always catering to the theme of the day. So the theme for today is using naman na more on influences. So we are going to share to you guys some song recommendations or certain songs that have influenced us in a way. So they are kind of close to our heart, I believe, at least for me. So let's hear from our guest first, Miss Apple. What is your song recommendation for our listeners today?
I'm recommending the song of Kim Hanbin, Midnight Blue. It is a donation song, so every stream you get to donate to World Vision that helps children in need worldwide. So
Ayun.
as our topic, it relates na yun, helping other people din. So,
That's so nice. Oh, ayun na nga. So, napaka-inline na nga talaga with our theme for today. Miss Nerissa, ikaw, ano yung song recommendation mo?
Well, in terms of influence, I think this song made me who I am today. Wow! Actually, parang dumaan na ako sa punto din na sa pagiging K-pop fan ko. Parang, yun nga, I guess everyone can relate to this. Pero, di ba, pag kunwari sa high school mo, ganun. And then, natatampakan ka na ng mga akads, ganun. And then, parang hindi mo na talaga siya kaya. This particular song was like my rope. My rope to pull me back into life.
Oh.
Karang gana. Okay. This saved me, actually. This song is BTS Tomorrow.
Ooh.
Ayun. Do you guys know that song? Hindi.
No.
Maganda siya actually. Because, people with unique dreams often get lost in the crowd. And parang you try to fit in by doing things that people around them do. So parang Tomorrow is like the song na, tomorrow is like the day that brings you new opportunities and new hopes in people's lives. Wow! Ayun. So, parang, diba, they spend their entire lifetime waiting for that tomorrow. Ayun. So, basta deep yung lyrics niya, guys. So, maganda siya.
So nice. Oh.
Ikaw, Dana. Ano ang marirecommend mo today?
Mango.
Mango.
Ayan, pero nagamit ko na yung Mago card ko nung first episode. Pero seriously speaking, sige, mabilisan na. Seriously speaking talaga, this has been, talaga such an influential song. Pero I'll leave it at that. Yung talagang song recommendation ko for this episode is actually another song na kasing influential din ng Mago sa akin, which is Flourishing by Chungha. And itong song talaga is the reason why, if you ask my friends, flourishing, like the word flourishing talaga has a deep meaning to me. And it came to me at a very dark period of my life. I remember pa na I was going home and nagkakumita ako pa uwi. And I came from a very bad event. I'll just leave it at that. A very bad event. And then sakto, re-release yung album and I was just listening to the album on the way home. And this song actually is all English lyrics. And when I was listening to it, it was beautiful. Yung lyrics niya, it's about believing in yourself. Merong part dun, patience, relief, go deep down freely, beautiful things. I'm working hard to spell it out, follow my feeling, break down my walls, reach my soul, you give me reason. So this is kind of like a self-love song. It's about focusing on yourself and not letting the bad things like get in your way, because you have a lot of love inside of you. So it's about time that you give it to yourself. So ayun,
Wow.
it's so
Mahilig ako sa mga self-love songs din eh.
'Di ba? Tingin ko nga pati yung last episode yun din, medyo self-love song din yung recommendation ko. Pero yeah, check it out. It's from Chungha with the same album name, Flourishing din. It's beautiful. But I hope you guys enjoy yung recommendations naming tatlo and give it a listen. Especially in the time of the pandemic right now, we all need a little pull. And these songs, more than just our idols, have influenced us in a way that we are now looking towards better days. So I hope these songs will help you in making it all feel better and okay.
As we tackle the impacts of Korean artists to fans, I'm curious. Aha, ito na naman. What's the craziest thing you've done for your favorite Korean artist? Ako po!
Nakatawa na si Miss Apple.
Ay, ako, Miss Apple. Ano ba ang pinaka-craziest thing na nagawa mo sa idol mo? Or sa group na sinastan mo?
Craziest. Yan. Yung university festival nga. Like, we have to go to Daegu. And since, dahil nga, para makakuha ka ng barricade spot, free kasi siya, but then yun nga, yung getting a good spot, yun yung mahirap. So, ayaw namin mag-KTX, though yun yung pinaka mas mabilis, kasi yung time na mag-open siya, and halos lahat yun yung gagamitin. So, we rode the bus at around 11 or 12 midnight. Tapos yung oras ng performance is 8 p.m. next day. So, full day.
Oh.
So, we arrived sa Daegu mga around 5 or 6. Tapos yung nakarating kami dun sa university is around 7 a.m. Then may policy yung ng university, you can't leave things behind yung para lang masave yung spot mo. So, you have to wait there straight. Tapos yun, 8 or 9 p.m. pa sila nag-perform for 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
I think that's the craziest thing I've done for it. Pero no regrets because that's the last time I watched them as 7. And then I think that's their last performance as 7. Yun. Kaya, no regrets talaga.
No regrets talaga, girl. Gusto ko yung mga ganyan eh. Ikaw, Dana, anong craziest thing na nagawa mo?
Okay, sabihin ko sana nawala, pero meron pala. Okay, there was this time. Okay, so, this was you guys know Exolution? Yung first concert ng like yung actual solo concert nila sa Philippines. Ilang taon ba ako nun? Basta nasa junior high school pa ako nun. And then, before pa ma-announce yun, parang rumors pa lang siya na parang magkakaroon ng concert ng EXO. Okay. So, we were at a very big party. Like, it had like 100 guests, I believe. Basta nasa venue kami, it had like around 100 guests. Tapos, sabi, parang may pinapakanta. Like, nag-a-ask sila ng visitors to come up front and sing. And yung venue na to is not just like it's a very closed space. Like, it's parang hotel yung mga hotel venue. So, talagang, if you went up front, talagang makikita ka at maririnig ka. So, my parents, yung being Filipino parents, sobrang ninayabang yung anak. Parang, anak, gawin ka sa harap. I don't know. I don't like my voice when I sing. Pero ayun, sobrang they wanted me to go up. So, sinabi ko, sige, pag kumanta ba ako, papayagan niyo ako pumunta ng concert ng EXO. So,
Oh my gosh.
umao sila. So, I went up, fine. Sige, I went up. Ewan ko ba ano yung naisip ko nung time na yun. I could have chose an easier song. Pero siguro yun yung from the top of my head kasi sobrang na-pressure ako, ang daming tao. So, I don't know what song I was gonna sing. So, ang pinili ko is Rolling in the Deep ni Andrea. I'm sure naman aware kayo kung gaano kataas yung kanta.
Oh. Tapos, anyari.
So, it was, ayun, so kinanta ko siya. Verse 1 was where I was doing well, verse 1. And then, the chorus came, and it was so bad.
Okay lang yan. Worth it naman nakapunta ka ng concert, girl.
Eventually, nakapunta ako ng concert, pero
Worth it na yan. Worth
sobrang funny. Pagbalik ko ng table, everyone was like, yes. Okay ka pa? So, ayun, yun na siguro yung naisip ko craziest. Ikaw, Miss Nerissa.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll keep this short na lang. Kasi, oh my God. Okay, guys, don't do this, please. Kung sino man yan nakikinig, don't do this. Okay, actually, nung first year college ata ako nun, nagtakas trip ako to Thailand para lang pumunta sa K-Con. Kasi pumunta ang Stray Kids doon. Hindi ako nagpaalam sa magulang ko na pumunta ako ng Thailand.
Hoy! What?
Tapos gipit pa ako sa pera nun.
Oh
I just
my
did
God.
everything for my boys, guys. Sulit naman siya, pero never try it. Please, wag kayong magtatakas trip nang hindi nagpapaalam sa magulang nyo. Ayan, yun yung craziest thing na ginawa ko.
Buti lang pala ikaw yung nahuli. Feel ko wala na
Oh,
makakatak
guys!
Oh my God, yung pala yung nakita kong photos mo. Illegal pala yung paglaban.
Gusto ko talaga yung yung pauwi na ako, tapos tumawag yung mom ko. Like, pabalik na ako sa Pilipinas, ha. Masakay na ako ng aeroplano, tapos tumawag yung nanay ko, uy, nasan ka na? Tapos sabi ko, eto, pauwi na. Saan galing?
Oh my God!
Sa Thailand!
Oh my God
alam na nila yung story. Okay lang yan. Isang araw lang sila nagalit. Parang nagalit lang sila nung oras na yun. Pero nung afternoon, kamusta yung Thailand?
Wow!
Di ba? Ayun. So, moving on. Speaking of the craziest thing we've done, or kung ano man yung mga pinagkakwento namin dito, we've actually asked our netizens on Aja Animo socials, how did being part of a fan community change them as a person?
Yeah, so we've collected a lot of responses for this question, actually. And I'm excited to read their answers. So, for this one, we'll let our guest then read yung chosen comment niya. Miss Apple.
Okay, here. From Facebook, from Bettina Dabu. Being a fan of the Kpop groups and artists I support has actually made me a better person. The community, first and foremost, is inclusive and diverse. Given that you meet the right people, because there are parts of the community that can become toxic, but that's a whole other topic. It was able to give me a platform to express myself and have people with common interests be there for me. But what's the most impactful for me is the fact that having had my idols for inspirations, they've driven me to try and be someone I could be proud of. It doesn't matter what we don't know each other personally, but the love that the people I support have for fandoms they have transcends that. The bond that it's able to form is kind of unexplainable, but all I could say is that I'm thankful to be a part of this community where idols support their fans and fans support their idols and fans supporting each other. Yeah. I chose this comment kasi I kinda na-relate ako, like what I told earlier. There are things that I've done when I entered fangirling, like yun nga, yung community projects and all. And yun nga, finding the right people with the same interests helps din talaga. You find friends who supports you kahit outside the fangirling. And then yun nga, yung bond between idols and fans, sobrang iba siya kahit hindi nga yun nga kilala personally yung idols.
So, this comment naman is from Jillian Antonio. So, I started studying BTS last year. My sister and nephew introduced them to me around September, but I ignored it. I think it was around the end of October when I started to really notice them. I mean, who wouldn't if you would see them in the television every night? Because my sister and nephew watches them. It became a rabbit hole for me since then, Googling and watching BTS and buying merch and albums as well. I met a number of friends who are also ARMY, and I think I became closer to them because of BTS. I also met strangers in social media who support the idol group, and I like the fact that they inspire and keep each other motivated. This is when I realized that even strangers can make you happy in their own little ways. After a long and tiring day at work, I always go back to BTS and they automatically make my day better. I can say that being part of a fan community made me a lot happier and made me love myself more. Actually, yun na yung last line was the reason why I wanted to mention this. Because isipin mo, like, I could tell from Jillian's comment na it's just, if you think about it, it's just 7 people. It's just 7 people na suddenly came into your life and then suddenly ito yung naging change. That suddenly you have friends and suddenly you became open to meeting people. Suddenly you find the reason to be happy after a long day at work, and then you also, most especially, you have found another reason and an inspiration to love yourself more. And ayun, yun na talaga yung reason why I wanted to share this, because I have the same experience with the idols that I stan, and I'm sure then with Apple and Nerissa, meron din ganung kind of impact. So it's amazing how these strangers that don't know you, hopefully in the future, yes, pero they don't know you, you're complete strangers, and they don't, I mean, technically you don't know them, but they still, like, you're not, it's still a special relationship that you are influenced in such a way na it's like they're not there, but it's like you're always being given a back hug or a pat on the head lagi. So that's really sweet, and it makes you think about how your existence talaga has a huge impact on people. So even if you're not an idol, siguro a lesson to learn from here is the tiniest things that you do always have some sort of impact on people. So I hope that we all learn to be kind, and if there's a way to help people, especially in this time, try to help them, because you don't know how much it would mean to them. So ayun, Nerissa, and your final thoughts, your comment.
Okay. So, for me naman, I'm going to take someone who commented on Instagram. Hello, Sherry. This is from Sherry Lam. So, she said that being a part of the fan community allowed me to be more open and change some perspective or opinions. I was able to express myself more, especially in showing love and support, not just to the idols that I like, but also to the people around me. I also met new people who have the same interests as me, and I enjoy spending time with them because I feel like there are more people who understand me as well as people who I can relate with. Also, being part of this community encouraged me to dream bigger, to try new things, and not to be afraid to fall or fail. So, learning the stories of the K-pop idols I support, they went through so much. However, they're now in the position where they dreamed of, while also inspiring others to reach their dreams. I always love the fan community I'm in because I can genuinely feel the love and support, not just between idols and fans, but also fans to fans. Wow, ang haba ng comment.
Oo.
Pero napaka-heartwarming niya. I actually can relate to Sherry in terms of like learning the stories of the K-pop idols I support. Kasi 'di ba, tulad nga nung sabi ko kanina, as fans, we all have our different stories and different idols that we support in. Mostly, we idolize them because, yun nga, because of what the music they bring, or it can be also because of their visuals, or it can also be because of their stories, or overall as well. For me, I can relate in terms of, yun nga, tulad ng sabi ko, learning the stories of the K-pop idols I support. Kasi nga, yung mga idols na sinusupport ko, marami siya actually.
Mm.
But there are groups talaga na I stick to with in terms of supporting, in terms of voting, streaming, ganon. Because feeling ko mas na-attach ako sa kanila because of their story that can relate to mine.
Mm.
Ayun. In terms of loving the fan community that you're in, same lang din na may kanya-kanya tayong story and may kanya-kanya rin tayong mga tao na mini-meet on social media or nakakausap. And amazing talaga siya kasi yun nga, tulad nung sabi mo rin, Dana, na napakalawak ng mundo. Napakalawak ng parang napakadaming tao sa mundo. And social media, especially now in this pandemic, social media is one of the ways that we cope up with in terms of interacting with people. And, you know, since marami tayong pinagdadaanan na paghihirap sa buhay, kung ano man yan, mayroon pa rin community na sumasalo sa mga paghihirap mo. And they try to do everything they can kahit hindi nila alam ang storya mo to lift you up as well as be there even though hindi siya physically. And I think that's just amazing to people, especially to fans. K-pop fans to be specific. Ayun. Kung ano talaga yun natututunan mo sa idols mo, na-influence mo sa ibang tao din. And I hope that goes on a long way kung more generations to come. Ayun. And I think that's all for our Q&A. Ang deep na naman, napahaba na naman tayo sa story. Pero thank you to everyone who sent in their comments. And I guess before we wrap things up, we would like to thank our guest for today, Miss Apple. Miss Apple, baka naman gusto mo magpa-closing remarks to say goodbye to our listeners.
Thank you for listening. And also, thank you guys for inviting me kahit bago ako sa ganitong classes. If you wanna follow if you wanna support our projects, you can follow Marupok Nation PH on Twitter. All details ng projects will be posted there. And also vote icon for Kingdom. And don't forget to support Kim Hanbin on his solo debut.
Yes. Ayun.
Your responsibility. Ayun na
I love that.
Ayan na. Sobrang sakto pa nung Twitter handle, yung name ni Miss Apple. Marupok Nation. Ayan, kasi ang dali natin, ang rurupok natin.
Totoo.
Rurupok natin. So, ayun na nga. So, sabi vote ipa-vote natin. Ipa-vote natin for
Kids and Icon.
ayan,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
So,
yun yan.
hate.
We have 3 votes naman. So,
I was about to say, sino yung bobotohin? Ayan, okay. So, ihati nyo yung votes nyo. So, thank you to Apple for a lively discussion. I hope our listeners enjoyed this episode and maybe even learned something new.
Totoo. Ako rin marami akong natutunan sa episode na to. So, I hope you guys do too. And if may gusto kayong ikwento about your life, pwede naman kayo mag-comment in our social media platform. Diba, Dana?
So, our next episode, and possibly the last.
Oh, no!
Actually, I'm excited to introduce this naman. Save the best for last. It's all about queer representation in K-drama and Kpop. This is my time to shine.
Oh my gosh! Yes! Get ready for it because it's going to be an exciting topic for everyone. Now, as we wrapped up our episode, stay updated on our Kaja podcast details by liking our Facebook page, Animo. This is where we'll be broadcasting our episodes on Fridays at 8 p.m.
So don't forget to follow our Instagram as well at Animo for more information about Korean culture and Animo's projects.
Thanks for tuning in, Yorobun. Again, this has been Nerissa Flores
And Dynasty
on the Kaja podcast. See you next Friday. 감사합니다.
Bye! 안녕!
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not represent those of the organization, the university, and its stakeholders.